Hey everybody, JJ here with a little update, sort of explainer before we jump into the episode. We actually had a surprise guest host, my good buddy from Twitter, Ira, who's going to come onto this podcast with us. And actually, he was on the podcast. He was in the recording. We had him come in through a Zoom. And something happened with the audio. I was trying to make sure it didn't do what it did the last time we had a guest host on. And the it's terrible. There's no audio from Ira at all. And so I cut around his parts. And so he's not really there. He is there, but it was really just like these awkward pauses and silence, and then us laughing a lot because he's hilarious. And it was super fun to have him there recording with us, but it's not as much fun for you guys because you can't hear what he said. So we cut around his bits. We still have a good episode for you here, but my apologies to Ira and. We hope to have him back on the pod very soon to make up for that because I would have loved for everybody to hear he was just so much fun to have with us for this 51st episode. All right, well, here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of The Man Shreks.
It's a commentary on Christian life and culture from a pastor's wife and her sidekick.
That's me. We haven't done it that way. Like we say the same thing to the.
You usually just introduce everything. I'm
messing it up lately, so finally we got back into our old rhythm. But so it is the end of the Easter weekend, and for us that's just a big exhaustion thing. Definitely had a moment, and I do feel like this is worth mentioning because I feel like I want people to know this. Like so much of our life is like a pastor's family, and we've got 4 kids, and they're fairly well behaved in church, and they're not that many kids in church, and so people get real excited. They're like, your boys are so wonderful. You guys have this like perfect idyllic little family. And today I feel like was a day of highs and lows, right? There were moments where it felt like that idyllic family, right? Where we were playing outside in the sun, and it was like a nice day, sat in my rocking chair, watched the boys hang out with their new rollerblades. And then there was like, hey, they ate a bunch of sugar and went crazy. And I don't know, there were other parts where I don't know. I feel like people need to know that it's like, yeah, that idyllic picture that you get on Instagram or whatever of these like influencers who have the perfect family or whatever, it's just not real. It's not what life is actually like. And so it's just nice to have a place to come and take a break and recoup from a rough weekend.
Just busy weekend.
It was crazy, yeah. So let's approach that news desk. You got some goofy stories?
I do.
Would you like to go first?
Sure. All right. So this article says Boston Transit Police find a Star Wars character while responding to a gun call.
Wait, like they found like an action figure or?
So transit police in Boston responded to reports of a person with a long gun at one of the busiest stations in the system. But when they arrived, they found a man dressed as Boba Fett.
Okay, so I've been enjoying The Mandalorian season, but that's next level. There was a man dressed as, but was it a real gun or like a space gun?
Several transit authority officers were expecting to deal with a weapons situation, but they arrived only to find a person dressed as the iconic bounty hunter from the film franchise. They were carrying a replica weapon. So it's a replica firearm. Officers conversed with the individual, and the scene was safe.
Now, do you think that there was Boba Fett or Din Djarin? Like from the pictures, he got kind of a green.
Yeah, it's not. But it's definitely the Mandalorian.
It's definitely the Mandalorian.
It's a bad costume cosplay though. Like the helmet is not correct, but it's definitely not Boba Fett. So the costume was complete with a dark helmet, black non-transparent visor, and a replica weapon. The agency quickly gave the all clear.
That's embarrassing.
And here's the reason. The annual Anime Boston is taking place between Friday and Sunday at the city's Heinz Convention Center. The event typically draws thousands of people in various sci-fi costumes. Why would you not get that vibe? Like
there's a big convention in town.
If you see someone dressed up in a costume, there's a pretty good chance that they're just in character role play. Yep. They're not a dangerous. I mean, what do I know?
I don't think that those people are dangerous at all. I think they're a little goofy, right? They're having way too much fun, but they enjoy dressing up. And for me, it's like the money and the time that goes into these costumes. It's like, how much of your life is invested in this? I mean, it's essentially like a hobby, right? You dress up like this character. But it does seem like, I've never been to any of those things, but it does seem like the folks who go and they're super into that stuff, they have a ton of fun. Like they get to dress up like their characters. They go around and they hang out with other fans and they get like little inside scoops on their favorite TV shows or whatever. So I guess I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like let them dress up or whatever. But to call in a gun threat, I'm
like, wait, what is this?
I feel like this could have gone really wrong, though. You know, like a gun
it could have
threat,
escalated improperly.
Officers, you know, when you are told that there might be a gun, that's not like an idle thing. That means that they were like with their fingers on the trigger, ready. Yep. And thankfully, they realized that this was not a big deal. It would have been really funny if they had arrested the Mandalorian, though. So mine is Easter egg related, and I'm just going to read you the title of this article, which gives you the whole story.
Okay.
Grown adults pushed children out of the way and knocked people over to grab eggs at an Ohio mall Easter egg hunt.
What?
The adults pushed children out of the way.
What was the prize?
Oh,
like, was it just candy? No,
just candy. Just candy. An Easter egg hunt for kids at an Ohio mall did not go as planned. The Greentown Center in Beaver Creek, Ohio, posted a since-deleted apology to Facebook to parents for the crowd control fiasco at their Easter egg hunt. And by crowd control, they mean they could not stop a bunch of adults from swarming the children and grabbing all the eggs. So the actual apology, it says, on behalf of the Green management team, we would like to reach out to the Green community regarding the Easter egg hunt yesterday. This is our second year holding this event for the community, and unfortunately, the event did not turn out as we hoped or planned due to several factors. Our staff dedicated 2 months to preparing for the event. They had 10 staff members and a softball team of 12 girls volunteer their time yesterday to help run the event. That's significant. You got 10 staff and 12 volunteers. That's 22 people running the show. That's quite a few. I've run these events with like 5 people, you know, like Easter egg hunts. It's hard to get a lot of volunteers. So you often like softball team or Boy Scouts. This is a mall
that's doing it though. So
that's true. It's a big place, right? So we feel we owe an explanation for the events that took place. And while we are not trying to point fingers or place blame, which, you know, from around 12:30 to 2 p.m., we began instructing participants how the event would work. 1 and 2-year-olds get to start first in the designated area, the concrete area by the fountain, where they had eggs laid out specifically for them. Then the 3 and 4-year-olds could go, and they get 60 seconds with a parent to get a head start. And then following that, the hunt would begin for everyone else. So they did all this stuff, and they were unfortunately bombarded with participants that would not follow instructions. And when we began to gather the 1 and 2-year-olds to head to their designated hunting area, the parents rushed to the grassy area and began picking up eggs from other areas, which prompted all the participants to rush out and begin hunting. This is not at all how we planned for the event to go, and we are so upset from the outcome and the reactions. Adults are not permitted to pick up eggs, yet we saw many doing so, which resulted in some children leaving empty-handed. We put over 2,000 eggs out there with 100 prizes to give away, and it is a shame that so many left disappointed.
Oh my gosh.
We saw, and then this is the big quote that got the newsworthy, we saw grown adults pushing children out of the way and people getting knocked over.
That I honestly, I don't understand people sometimes. Like
the news article posits that maybe the adults mistook it and thought that it was 2,000 real eggs, and at today's prices, that's a real gold mine. So,
oh my god.
Just plastic ones with cane. I cannot.
I can't fathom a world. Like, we went to that Easter egg hunt yesterday, and now knowing the setup of what it was very different than I was expecting. But I cannot imagine going to an Easter egg hunt like that.
Yep.
I was helping our 3-year-old at the 2 and 3-year-olds area gather eggs. I cannot imagine seeing another child there and being like, oh, hold on, and pushing them out of the way to get an egg.
Child.
Like, I could never do that.
Like literally taking
it was hard enough for me to be like, Ezra, pick up the one in front of you. Pick up the one in front of you, because he was so preoccupied with his glove that he could not even pick up the egg. And I was like, it's okay. Like, just pick up the egg. I could not steal it from another person, like another person's child.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I do want to give a shout out. So the way... So we, moved to Freeland recently. We've mentioned that a bunch of times on the podcast, but like we're new to this area. And so we were like, all right, where's the local Easter egg hunt? And so they had one at a park nearby, Faze Park. or Fayez.
Hayes Park.
Hayes Park. You're right. Hayes. And it was run by the Lions Club in cooperation with the Boy Scouts. So a very similar type thing. Mm-hmm. But I thought what they did was really clever. It was very upsetting at first before we realized how it worked. But you go and there's eggs everywhere and they have different sections for different age groups, which was perfect. And then the kids rush out. They say go and everybody goes. And parents aren't supposed to do anything. They let the kids do it. But all the eggs, hundreds of eggs all over this park, they were all empty, completely empty eggs. And what you did is you brought the empty eggs back and they would...
To the pavilion, yeah.
And they gave you a bag of candy.
Yeah.
It was at first it was like, oh my gosh,
because
these are
every
empty.
bag of candy was filled exactly the same.
Right. So it's the same size bag of candy. So no matter how many eggs you got, pro or con, like you still get the same candy. And so it's more about having fun and just grabbing the eggs. And so if a kid only got 2 eggs, still got a bag of candy. If a kid had 20 eggs, still got 1 bag of candy. And that really was like the great equalizer. And I thought that was very clever looking back at it, because that keeps this kind of thing from happening.
100%.
Oh my gosh, adults. So unfortunately for the community, the Green Town Center said they will not be doing the Easter egg hunt again next year.
There's always a few people that got to ruin it for everybody else.
Truly.
It's just awful.
Yeah, we feel the community will be better without the hunt. Green.
But you said this was Ohio, right? That explains a lot.
I feel like this is 2 weeks in a row of us hating on.
I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't even do that because we have family that live in Ohio.
We do. We're
it's just
beloved people.
It's embarrassing for us, honestly. But
it's Michigan.
Ohio.
It's just a rule. We have to make. Hey, Iris here. Hi. How long have you been there? Oh, we can't hear you. Hang on. All right, I have more goofy stories. Do you have another goofy story, Sarah?
Yeah, I do.
All right, let's hear your second story.
All right. So this one is a Reuters article. And it says vending machine in remote Japan town sells meat from intruding bears.
Sells meat from the bears? No.
So a Japanese town is selling bear meat from a vending machine, and it's sourcing its supply from Asian black bears. They're listed as a vulnerable species caught in traps or in the mountains by hunters. But bear attacks have been an increasing problem in parts of rural Japan due to a shortage of food in the forest that makes the animals come into habitated area.
There's so much in this story that I have questions about.
But so apparently... So there's this guy who placed the vending machine outside his noodle shop because he wanted to attract people.
So there's a vending machine with bear meat inside of it.
Yeah. So this vending machine sells really weird, not weird. I mean, I don't know. I would never buy bear meat from a vending machine.
Any kind of meat, even normal meat.
I don't buy from vending machines. So
what?
Asian black bears are listed as vulnerable, but it's legal to eat bear meat in Japan. So meat from trapped bears is tastier since the blood is drained immediately. I wouldn't know. What? So apparently there's vending machines that are pretty common. They can sell all sorts of random things like drinks, snacks, insects, and whale meat you can buy at vending machines. You can buy
insects.
Yes.
And
insects
what was that? Whale?
And whale meat. So it says bear meat isn't very common, but we want tourists who come to visit town to buy it.
That's the weirdest
So they
thing.
sell packs of bear meat. So it says this guy sells a pack of bear meat for about $17, and they're buying it out of this vending machine. And
bear meat and whale meat and bugs in vending machines.
I have so many questions. Bear, we gotta get it.
Okay. I would, if it was on the menu, I would probably.
Yeah, but if I'm like, man, look, there's a vending machine. I'm really craving a Mars bar or something. It's like, no, actually, bear meat sounds like a good idea
I just
right
think
now.
Raw meat in a vending machine is such a disgusting idea.
I just yeah. Okay, who's gonna put their arm up the
shake it
the machine for the bear meat?
You just get half of it. It comes apart and oh my gosh. Well, and
boy.
So isn't that and I'm just drawing on cartoons and goofy isn't that fairly stereotypical of Japan that Japan serves weird meats and they Japanese food they the joke you hear sometimes in TV shows and movies and stuff is that they'll take the cats from the alley behind the restaurant and put them in the food.
I don't know. I feel like there's they're trying to do something here with trying to curb this whole bear attack thing, but it's a weird juxtaposition of these two things. We're gonna get the bears and we're gonna sell them to allure the tourists to buy them, but we're also going to help prevent bear attacks. Like, I don't really understand. There's a lot I don't understand about this article, but I can't imagine being like, look, bear meat, I gotta have it, but also just appreciate the delicacy of bear meat because it tastes better, like from a vending machine, like trapped bear. I don't know. I wouldn't buy it, but
like I said, so I remember way back in college when. So this will date us when we got our very first smartphones, and it was such a big thing to use. When I didn't
get a smartphone until we were married. Like, yeah, I had the
map function. Do you remember this? We went out with a couple friend of ours, Dave and Jen, and we like used my phone, and it was like, let's find a restaurant near us, and we used the map function, and we just like set out in was that Chicago?
Yeah, we were living in Chicago at the time.
It was like we went to this restaurant, and they had exotic meats. Right. And they had like ostrich or bison or, beef or whatever. And it was like Dave and I were super excited. We were like, we got to try the weird thing, like the ostrich or the bison or whatever. If bear was like on a menu, I'd go for it. But I don't know how to cook bear. Right. Like, I don't know how to utilize
I guess that's
it.
the weird part for me is like, if I'm buying something from a vending machine, I almost want to be able to like consume it immediately. Like, that's my thought. If I'm a tourist in Japan, and I got a pack of raw bear meat with me. Like, what am I going to do? Like, walk into someone's noodle shop and be like, I need you to cook this now. I want this in my noodles. And what? Man. Like, the picture shows a pack of bear meat. It just shows a pack of bear meat. So I don't actually know if it's cooked or uncooked. But, like... It's unclear to me. It's consumable at the time.
I'm not going to lie to you. My brain went to like a freezer cooler sort of thing.
Yeah, that's what mine was thinking too.
Cold cuts hanging on a hook, and it would like drop it down the chute or whatever into like paper that you would have to wrap up around your cold cuts.
I mean, this picture is a picture. It looks like just processed meat, like a package of processed meat.
That looks like a steak on a grocery store shelf.
Yeah, like I'd buy it. Okay. Yeah, at the supermarket. I don't know, and maybe this is just when he packaged it or whatever. And, but I don't know. I wouldn't buy it like that. That's for sure. I wouldn't know what to do with it as a tourist. And this,
no, I would take a picture of the vending machine and then laugh about it, but I probably would not buy it. So listeners, I want to know: would you buy bear meat from a vending machine if it was cooked? Like if it was jerky, would you buy it? And then if it was just uncooked meat to like take home, would you buy it?
I don't know. It's just so curious. But anyway, that was my second story. What do you have?
I have both an animal story and a Florida man story.
Oh, we're going too. Okay.
Florida cops arrest loitering alligator in Tampa Bay.
Okay.
A 9-foot alligator was loitering down a Florida street, so the police had to very carefully arrest it.
Isn't that like an animal control thing? I feel like
they called the wrong people.
I know. That's very interesting.
This is the New York Post. Lizard lockdown happened Wednesday night, not far from Raymond James Stadium, where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. The Tampa's police department treated the gator like any other suspect. Body cam footage of the incident shows.
Who called this in?
So I haven't gotten to that part. So it's like, so this is a quote: "Tape his legs together, like behind his back, like you're handcuffing him." One officer can be heard saying in the clip. Then you're gonna do the same thing with the back legs. So they cuffed his front legs and his back legs together.
An alligator. Did they throw him in the back of the cop car?
Hang on, let's find out. So the when the slithery creature was first approached, and an officer poked it with his baton, and it repeatedly whipped its tail back and forth. Then 2 officers held the animal down while another one lassoed a rope around the gator's mouth. They also covered its eyes with a towel and taped its mouth shut, then its front and hind legs together. And then there's a ton of pictures of it. I've seen deputies deal with them, Tampa police not so much, so I was really surprised and happy when I showed up and saw they were putting me out of a job, said Phil Waters, an alligator trapper who was contracted with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. They did a great job, so I guess there's some good old boys on the TPD. They had that thing taken care of for me. So it's like the police got called first, and then the animal control showed up, and they're like, oh, well, that's great.
Interesting. Very interesting. That's just, wow.
Police took down an alligator and sat on it and lassoed its mouth.
They put a towel over its eye.
They put a towel.
I would love to watch the footage.
There is the body cam footage. That's just
we'll
good
visit
stuff.
That later.
I gotta say, I think that like Steve Irwin ruined alligators for a whole generation. Like we just think, oh, I could do that. You know, I could.
Oh
totally
no, I
jump
know
on
I
that.
can't do that.
I would
have
try.
no desire.
If I saw
No.
an alligator,
They can run really fast.
I know, but you just got to say, "Crikey, it's a beaut," and then jump on it. You know, and that's
And
okay.
there go your legs. So see ya. Terrible idea. Especially.
I guess I'm proud of the police officers, right? Like you respond to a call and you're like a little bit. If I was a cop, I'd be like, "Where's animal control?" Like you said, it's like, come on, where's the guy who's supposed to deal with it?
It must have been a slow night or something. Then like, we got the time to take care of this one.
Yep.
I don't want to mess with an alligator.
Or you know what it was? I've had alligator. It's okay, right? Like at a Cajun restaurant. Remember those little alligator bites? They were all right, you know?
Yeah, but I still wouldn't want to wrestle it myself. And
No, I don't. I prefer it to be cooked when it comes to me. All right, you ready for Sponsor Your Life?
I am.
You are?
So we recently moved to a new city, and one of the first things that the kids wanted to check off our list of places to go, things to do, is the library, because our kids are super into reading. I too am into finding a library because there's such a great place to connect in the community and find out about all sorts of things going on and just honestly get books. So we looked up local libraries and found that there are several branches in our area because we're in a kind of a bigger Tri-Cities kind of area.
Yeah.
Just new and very cool, but we have a lot of libraries in the area. So we found our closest branch. There's not one in our new town, but there is one a few miles away. So we went, found the library, great library. The kids were just
over the moon.
Well, and the funny part was that it wasn't even that big of a library, but it was like comparatively to our old library, just gigantic. I mean, we walked into the kids section, they were like, this is the whole kids section. Like the kids section was like as big as our old entire library. So they were like, what? And they even had like a story room, so we read some books. It was amazing. So I think Sponsor My Life this week was probably the library, because we...
So which one is it? It's Saginaw, right?
It's one of the libraries in Saginaw. Yep. So the Saginaw area library has many different branches, and they're part of the library cooperative where you can check out books at one branch, and they're connected to anything in kind of the Mid-Michigan Bay Area library cooperative. So we have access to a lot of different libraries now, and the kids were super excited about it. So I got a library card. And then our oldest also got his own library card for the first time. So now he has to be responsible for that. And he was very excited to he got to fill out the form and everything.
He got his own library card.
So
6 years old.
It was a lot of fun. So we did that this week, and that was a good thing.
Very cool. Very cool. For me, let's see, Sponsor My Life. So like you said, we moved to this area recently. So we live in a little town called Freeland, but we are in what's called the Tri-City area. There's Midland, Saginaw, and Bay City, which are they're not as big as some of the bigger cities in Michigan, but the three of them together make kind of a bigger metropolitan type area. And everything's like 10 miles away. Everything, you go 10 miles this way, 10 miles that way, 10 miles that way, you get to these big cities. So I'm a big coffee shop guy, and I've been totally overwhelmed. I've tried out a bunch of different coffee shops. There was a really good one in Midland, but it's farther away. And so I tried out, there's a lot of chains, there's Starbucks and Big B and all that, and those are fine. But I like a local brewery. Coffee brewery. I like a local coffee place that's small and maybe a chain, but not always, like locally owned and stuff. And I went over to, it's called Coffee Beanery. It's like a quarter mile from our house, and it was super cute. I went in there on Wednesday, and I stayed there like all day. I wrote my whole sermon. I mean, it was awesome. It was just a really cute, well-appointed place. While I was there was a lady who came in and did like a Facebook Easter egg challenge. She like was on her Facebook Live or TikTok or whatever, and she's like walking around doing a video, and I'm like, I don't want to be in your video. I'm like, but really good baristas, great selection, solid coffee, all that good stuff. And so I really enjoy that. So that was a Coffee Beanery in Freeland, Michigan. Super cute local place, and I like local and I've been overwhelmed. I've been checking out a bunch of them, and some are better than others, and so that one was really good. I enjoyed it.
Cute. I mean, when we lived in Nagani, it was,
Yep.
we had a lot of businesses and stuff, but it was
That's true.
small.
They
I mean,
had a
how many
little
people lived in Nagani? Like maybe 2,000 people?
Yeah, something like that.
I think
maybe
between
3,000.
Ishpeming and Nagani total, it was like 6,000 or 7,000 people.
yep.
But I don't know. I liked living in a smaller town. Like, it's weird because we lived in Chicago. And
I did not expect to find a love of small towns in my life.
There's just this tight knit closeness that I really appreciate in a small town. And I don't know.
All right, I do have a game. Okay, so the name of this game is Prosperity Price is Right. The way this works is, are you familiar with Preachers and Sneakers? So there is an Instagram account. I can't remember the guy who runs it. He has a name. He's a real person. But
you're giving a lot of credibility to this whole thing.
I don't know stuff. It's late. I'm tired. But so anyways, there's an account called Preachers and Sneakers, and it is dedicated to pointing out the hypocrisy of certain churches, mostly mega churches and prosperity gospel churches, where people wear clothing that is worth a lot of money. And so it's preachers. So it started with mega church pastors, preachers who wear sneakers that are worth an absurd amount of money, right? So what we do on this podcast, we make up goofy games. And so I'm going to go on that Instagram account and I'm going to show you guys a picture. I'll just hold it up to the camera and I'll show it to you. Okay. I'm going to put my thumb over the price of the product, right? And we will know the pastor's name and what the item is. And I'll read the description of it. And you have to guess how much that thing cost. And whoever gets closer to the price gets a point. Yeah?
Okay.
All right. Okay. So here we go. This is the item.
It's just a jacket?
It's a Louis Vuitton denim suede jacket. And this one is worn by a pastor named Guillermo Maldonado. Maldonado. There's not a second L in there. Maldonado. All right.
Suede Louis Vuitton jacket?
LVSE suede denim jacket from Louis Vuitton. Starting bids. And it's like the showcase showdown. You have to go closest without going over, right?
$6,000.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
You think $6,000?
Let me explain to you how much I buy designer
Louis
clothes.
Vuitton denim jacket.
Never.
I think our bank account would notice.
I can't even pay.
$12,000. I don't think I could wear a jacket that was worth $12,000. I'd be uncomfortable. I'd be like, I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna break. You know what I mean?
You would break it. I can't. I can't justify spending like more on a jacket than I could on like
a car.
Well, I mean that's technically less than a car, but I mean, yeah, $6,000, $12,000, anything. Whew.
All right. Well, the total is actually $4,850.
4,000?
It's a $5,000 jacket.
Yeah.
Whew.
Wow.
Pastor Guillermo, we were both a little too high, so we got to knock it down a bit.
Sense of what designer clothing.
That's what it is. There we go. This is Pastor David Crank, and he is wearing a sweater.
It's just a sweatshirt?
A sweater, a hoodie.
A hoodie. What brand hoodie?
So it is a Supreme Speed logo hooded sweatshirt. So Supreme Street. It just says
that has
Supreme.
no significance to me
it's
whatsoever.
It's a black sweater with green letters that says SUPREME. Supreme.
Okay.
It's a hoodie,
it's
right?
A hoodie. So, I mean.
I'll give you a hint. It's not anywhere near as much as that last jacket.
Okay, right? So let's say like $150.
$150? What do you think, Ira? So on this, the last sale, this looks like maybe like an eBay kind of thing. You can buy it or bid. You can buy it for $299. You can bid on it. The lowest retail price is $158. $158. So yeah, Ira, you just came in just over. Or if you went with your 151, you win.
For a hoodie, I mean.
For a hoodie.
I'm cheap, but.
I love like going to a concert or a Christian event. You get a $20 hoodie, or whatever, $25.
I mean, they're $40 now, but
it's true. Yes, they've all gone up since. All right, so first let's comment on the appearance of this one. This one is Dr. Darius Daniels, accessorizing with prayer and a little Fendi. Fendi is the name of the brand. I've never heard of it. It sounds like it's an expensive brand. But it's just kind of rocking this sweater.
It's a colorful.
Yeah, it's got like a white sweater with like colorful circles on it. Okay.
You should be like a fashion.
I should. Yeah, I'm good at describing things,
with
right?
Colorful circles on it. is going for. So it's an expensive designer brand again.
It's like a V-neck sweater. Yeah, and maybe it is expensive designer. Not anywhere near that jacket.
Okay, so let's say $800.
$800. All right, what do you got, Ira?
No idea.
$600, $990 for a V-neck sweater. Dr. Darius. I mean, it's a cool style, I guess, but
not
$900
for it.
I don't own it. I think you could probably purchase my entire wardrobe for $900. All right, so this one is a jacket in dark ice blue denim with shearling. It's the fuzzy denim jacket, right? Like,
okay.
I don't know anything about it, and this guy is not Carl Lentz. It's Pastor Lusko, but he looks like Carl Lentz.
It was
line. It has fuzzy on the inside. That's correct. Fleece line? No, I don't know.
You're so fashionable.
I am so not.
You're good with the words and descriptions and stuff.
It's a good thing this isn't like an audio medium format or anything. You know.
Does it say a brand? Not that helps me in any way.
No,
or
it says
anything.
jacket in dark ice blue denim and shearling. That's all it says.
It doesn't say a brand.
Looks like the guy's name is Levi Lusko, Pastor Levi Lusko.
Okay, so
or he's
how much
sponsored
would I
by
pay for
Levi.
that, or how much do I think that's worth?
For reference, I have a jean jacket that I bought, and I think I paid $50 for it.
I think a jacket with that shearling like that
Yep, that's
inside,
the
maybe.
fuzzy. How much is the fuzzy worth?
I don't know. How much is it worth, or how much would someone pay for it?
Well, how much?
If it's high quality, okay, maybe $100.
$100. How much do you think? $9,500. That's about what we would pay for that jacket.
Oh, I would never pay. I would buy something like that from Goodwill. That's what I would buy. I mean, I wouldn't buy that jacket, but I would definitely thrift something like that first.
$2,990. $3,000. That's
For
a
jacket like that?
$3,000 jacket.
Oh my gosh!
Prosperity price
I
is
hope
right.
that he wears that forever. Oh my gosh! I can never justify spending that much on one item.
On a jacket though, like
oh my gosh!
If it was like the super like rain-proof whatever, then I could like if your jacket could like fly you to the top of Mount Everest, maybe it could be worth that much.
Oh my gosh! I can't imagine spending $3,000 on a denim jacket, even if it's lined warmly. Like I just
What on earth? All right, so these are basketball shorts worn by Pastor Mike Todd. Mike Todd, I'll say, shows up on this account a lot. I don't know anything about him. I've never heard of him, but he must be a prosperity gospel preacher. Wears expensive clothing, but it is a pair of white basketball shorts. Okay, Louis Vuitton.
Oh, okay.
On the
so
butt.
another Louis Vuitton.
Or no, it's on the front.
For some basketball shorts?
On basketball, they're like white. They kind of look like Space Jam, right? They're white with like a blue and red band at the bottom.
Yeah, there's like red and blue.
Yep, basketball shorts.
Oh man, Louis Vuitton basketball shorts.
I haven't bought basketball shorts since college, but I think I paid $2.
Okay, so that jacket that you mentioned, or was it a jacket?
The fleece line.
Thing.
Yeah, that was $3,000. This isn't like
okay,
that.
so these are basketball shorts. So I don't know how much are those going for. $500 a pop. Let's say that $550.
$550 for basketball
shorts.
shorts.
No idea.
Can you imagine paying $500 for basketball shorts?
No.
You could buy a phone, or
Think of what you could do.
$1,000. Ira wins it. It is $1,030.
Oh my God! For basketball shorts.
For basketball.
Oh my gosh!
I can't.
You can sponsor a basketball team for
Yes.
a local basketball team. You can start a basketball camp for kids in your area with
You could. You really could.
Or you could buy these shorts.
I love it. All right, here we go. Steve Furtick, Nike shoes, right? These are legitimately sneakers. We're going to end it with a sneaker. Steve Furtick sneakers, they're Nike. They got like black swoosh on orange and white, right?
Okay.
They're kind of like high tops, right? Yeah. Is that the word? High tops? They're just,
Okay.
I mean, they're nice shoes.
They're Nike. Is it like a special edition, or are they some sort of like?
Nope. They are.
Not that helps me at all. I don't know why I would ask.
They are
such
brand
weirdly
new. They're in
specific
condition.
details.
So these are it's a 2-year-old picture, if that helps.
Okay.
They're Jordan 1 Retro. Shattered backboard, Nike swoosh.
Okay.
Stephen Furtick.
$899.
$899.
I have no idea.
All right. What do you think, Ira? $600. You're actually both right. It's a bid, right? The lowest ask is $699. The current bid was $965.
Whoa.
$965
For a
It's just
pair of
amazing.
high top tennis shoes.
Like, first off, I'll tell you, I do want to pump up the account a little bit. Preachers and Sneakers, one of the points of that Instagram page is to point out the hypocrisy of people who are leading a church spending that much money on their appearance, right? Like, and he actually wrote a whole book about it, about celebrity and about the use of money and good stewardship. I haven't read the book, but it's on my list. Like, I think it's an admirable cause to just point out what I see as just sort of flagrant irresponsibility and stewardship. Like, that's just not how things should be. And so I appreciate that the count. Hey, everybody,
sadness.
thanks so much for joining us for this fun, goofy podcast. We have a great time making it. We hope you love listening to it. If you want to head over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, you could give us a lower star rating, but then I won't be as happy. You can go over to Apple and type in a written response. And if you write up a review, we will actually read it on the pod because that's what we do. All right. You ready to send us out with the mom joke of the week?
So it's not so much a great mom joke. So it's...
Wait, pause. Before we get to because the mom joke of the week, Ira, is the final piece of the podcast. We sign off right after that. So would you like to say anything to your sister who you know will be tuning in? All right, Sarah, you ready to send us out with the mom joke of the week?
Okay, so it's more of kind of like a... I don't know. It's a Star Wars joke. Okay.
Okay.
Just to preface it, not that that makes any difference at all. Okay, so an Ewok strolls into a bar and says to the bartender, "I'll have a whiskey and soda." The bartender says, "Sure thing, but why the little pause?" "I don't know," says the Ewok. "I've had them all my life." It's so bad. I apologize. This week. It's so bad. So, I know. That's okay.
Bye, everybody.